Good evening, guys. This is Daniel AG. I'm here with a video which will help you to install SQL Server 2017 on your Windows 10 machine. Those who have already registered for my training, you will get an email with a link from where you can download the installation files. If you haven't registered for my training program, you can still download it. This is actually what the download link for all the installation files. I'm going to put this link as in the comment section of this particular video in YouTube, so you can use that during the installation program. If you have any question or if you get stuck, feel free to email me. This is what my email address, ag.daniel@yahoo.com, or you can text me. My number is 267-718-1533. This is what my WhatsApp number too. I'm very active in WhatsApp as well, so you can send me a one-liner, and I will try my best to help you out. Okay. All right. So let's go to the location. This is what my OneDrive folder where I uploaded all the installation files. There are 3 of them. Well, the first two, which is the first 2 files, this is primarily for SQL Server installation. The third file is for installing SQL Server Management Studio 17.4 version. So you need to, once using the link which I'm going to share either through the email or through the chat section of this YouTube video, you can click on that link that will take you here, and then you need to download these files one by one. You can right click and then say download, or you can select that file and then click download, whichever way you want. But make sure that you download all these 3 files. Normally when you download, it should go to your download folder. Let me show you my download folder. You can see, forget about these files. We don't need this. So after you download these are the 3 files. Also take a look at the file size. Make sure that the file size you see in this video is exactly same as the file size you are going to see. And what I normally do is that once you download, once these 3 files downloaded to your download folder, I will create another folder under the C drive. So let me go to my C drive. And what I did is that I created a new folder called as SQL Server 2017 installation, and I copied all the 3 files here, and this is from where we are going to install everything. So the first thing is that the first 2 files, this is the cap files, and you need to create the actual binaries for SQL Server. So that's an easy task. So what you need to do is that you need to right click on the file which says application. The file size is 155 kilobyte. Right click on that file and then say run as an administrator. Click yes here. And then it's going to show a location. That location is going to be the same folder where you want to extract and create the binary files. So you can just click OK here unless you want to point this to some other folder. I wouldn't recommend that. Just create this binaries as a separate folder in the same section, location itself. So click OK here. Depends on your CPU size. It might take 10 minutes, 15 minutes, or even take less than a minute to complete this extraction process. And you can see that this extraction process actually created a folder called as SQL Server 2017 and it automatically opened the SQL Server installation. After this extraction is done, the SQL engine will the SQL Server installation center, that's a window you are seeing here, this will automatically open. But if you don't see this window, no problem. What you have to do is go inside this newly created folder, and then you see a green icon called as setup, a setup with a green icon. So what you have to do is right click on that and then say run as an administrator. But before we proceed, just let me tell you what's the prerequisites for installing SQL Server 2017. You need to have Windows 10. If you have a lower version, you cannot install it. You must have a Windows 10 machine, and the .NET framework you need is 4.6.1, but most of the Windows 10 already comes with that, so you don't need to worry about it. If you have a lower version of SQL Server, so Windows operating system, this is a time to upgrade first and then go for installing SQL Server 2017. Okay, so you need to right click on, once again, you need to right click on setup and then say run as an administrator and click yes, and wait for that. It's going to take a minute, a couple of seconds, and then it's going to open the SQL Server Installation Center. So this is what the SQL Server Installation Center. Let me maximize it for better view. So there are a couple of sections here. The one which we need to go for is the installation. So click on the installation, and you will be seeing, various type of SQL Server installation. In this particular video, I'm going to show you how to install a standalone version of SQL Server, which is what needed for the initial part of our training program. And when we get into the high availability, we need to install always on availability solution, high availability solution, as well as the Windows failover cluster. Then at that time, we'll be talking about these two options as well. For now, we are going to install a standalone version of SQL Server 2017. So click on this first blue link here. Under the installation, the first blue link, new SQL standalone installation and add features so and so. Click on that. Wait for a second. It's going to open a new window. Let me maximize all these windows. We don't need it. So it opened this particular window. And there are three different versions you can install here: evaluation, developer, and express. We'll be talking about various versions of SQL Server during the training program. For now, you need to choose the evaluation version, which is valid for evaluation is same as the enterprise or developer. The only difference is that evaluation is valid for 180 days. And now the question is that what you will do after 180 days. I mean, you can buy a developer license, or you can uninstall and reinstall SQL Server if you don't want to spend money on the developer edition. So I'm going with evaluation. But by the way, if you are getting this this installation media from your office, and if you have a license, definitely you can click on this enter product key and then enter the product key here. But for in my case, I'm using the evaluation version, so I'm going to continue. So these are the various steps we need to. If you look at the left hand side, you can see various steps we need to configure. All right, so click on next. Now we need to click on accept the license terms and click next. All right, so now here it is always a good practice to go and check whether there is any recent updates, the cumulative updates or service packs. SQL Server 2017 came out last month, so I don't know. I mean, I'm pretty sure that there is no service pack. But if you click on this, it will go and get any hot, hot fixes or cumulative updates. If you want, you can skip it, but I'm going to click on this and click next. So this process might take some time, depends on how many updates are out there. So in our case, it's 2017. So there isn't much, cumulative update. No cumulative update, no service pack. Probably there might be some, hot fixes. I do not know. But anyway, it went very quickly, so that's good. So it is actually going to check some the rules, and everything is fine here. If you see a Windows firewall, this is a warning message. This is not an error. Then you can go next. Now, if you see a error message, then you need to address that. I mean, if you get an error message, if you do not know what to do with that, just send me an email with the screenshot, and then if you click and if you click on view detailed report, it is also going to give you a detailed description of what is the reason, what actually caused the error. Now, if you click on that link, it is also going to show you which are the various rules actually checked by the installation. If everything is fine, you don't need to worry about it. Now click next here. All right, so when you're installing SQL Server comes with a lot of components. Now in SQL Server 2017, the number of components, the number of features are actually increased from previous versions of SQL Server. I will go through these different components, what the significance of each of this during the training program. For now, you need to go and install almost all the service, all the features. So what I will do is that I will click on select all. Okay, now you can see that all those checkboxes are selected. Now, what I want is that I want to uncheck some of this because, for example, machine learning, we can later, because these are features which we can add later. So in order to have a smooth installation, I'm going to uncheck some of this later. We can add these components, install these components back. So I'm going to uncheck machine learning services, Polybase, then machine learning service under the shared feature. I believe that is good. Rest of the stuff we can actually keep it. If you want, you can uncheck the distributed repair controller and the client. but for now I'm going to keep it. So rest of the stuff are the same. If you ever installed SQL Server 2016 or 2014 or 2012, well, you have seen that the SQL Server reporting services will also automatically included as a feature. But in SQL Server 2017, SSRS is not part of the installation straight away. If you want, you can go and install it. You need to download and install it separately. So you can see that SQL Server reporting services is not part of the installation feature. Now, during the training program, I will also, help you to install the SQL Server reporting services. That's a different feature. That's a different story. Okay. For now, you are good to go. And these are the various with respect to the Microsoft .NET framework, you need 4.6. I believe I mentioned this before. And the amount, it is also going to show you what is the amount of free space needed and how much is available to install SQL Server. You need to have to install SQL Server evaluation developer or enterprise version. You need to have around 3 GB space available, and this is the location where everything is going to be installed. If you want, you can change it, but I'm going to go with it. Oh, here, look at here. Looking for reporting service, download it from the web. So if you want, after installing everything, you can go to this location and then download it from directly. All right. So that's a change in installation in SQL Server 2017 comparing to previous versions. Anyway, so I'm going to click next here. Wait for a second. All right, so in this particular screen, you need to provide a name for the instance. Each instance should have a unique name. If you can go for, you have two options here. You can go for the default instance. If you go for the default instance name is as MS SQL Server, but that's not what I want for the training program. I want a named instance because we will be installing multiple instances on a machine. So I want to go with a named instance. So I'm going for a instance name dev 4000. Okay, you can give whatever name you want. It has to be unique, and there are some restrictions. You cannot use space, special character. I mean, you can use space, special character, etc. I mean, but you need to put that in the square bracket. But just go for a regular naming convention, and then click on the instance ID. You can see that the named instance and the instance ID are the same. Okay. Now, in my machine, I already have other instances installed with SQL Server 2016. And so that's the reason why if you look at the installed instance in my machine, you can see all the instances I have. But in your case, this part is going to be completely empty with the assumption that this is the first time you are installing SQL Server on a machine. Okay, so don't need to worry about all these you are seeing in my machine. All right, click next here. Now you can see that we are actually going through on the left hand side, or we are going through various steps. We actually completed instance configuration. Now we are in the server configuration. Now for behind the scene, when you are installing SQL Server, you are actually installing Windows services. If you are new to SQL Server, no need to worry about any of this. We'll be discussing this as part of the training. Now, each feature is going to be, most of the features are running as a service on top of the Windows operating system. So for each service, you need to provide a username and an account, a username and password. So these are the various services, and these are various account names. And all these services are local accounts, so you don't need to local Windows account, so you don't need to provide any password. But this is not what the preferred way of installation on a corporate network. You need to use you need to use the ag domain account, etc. But again, that's another topic we need to discuss later. So for now, the local accounts are good. Only change you need to make here is that for SQL Server agent, the startup type by default it is manual. You can change that to automatic. Rest of the stuff is going to be the same. For distribution, replay controller, and the client, it is manual. You can keep it like that. SQL browser also, you need to make sure that it is automatic. Then we are good. It's always a good practice. Check this grant perform volume maintenance. Again, that's a topic we'll be discussing later. What is the significance of that? All right. So I'm going to click. Only change you need to make here is that change this from for SQL Server agent, the startup type should be changed from the manual to automatic. That's only change you need in this particular window. Now click next. All right. So this is in this particular database engine configuration, we are actually setting a couple of things. Now the question is that after installing SQL Server, how do you connect to that SQL Server instance, right? Now, again, it's too early to discuss all these things. So what you need to do is that you need to click on mix mode, and then you need to provide a password you can remember. All right. And then always remember, you need to click on this add current user. Don't click on next. You need to click on add current user. Wait for a second. Now you can see that your current Windows account is being added as a valid administrator, SQL Server administrator. So because of this reason, because you click on add current user, after the installation, you can directly connect to that instance without worried about a login or everything. And now how it works, etc., we'll see later. Now, a couple of other things you can do. If you click on the directory tab here, it is going to show you where is the default location where your various database data file and log file is. Now, tempdb is a new folder, a new tab from SQL Server 2016 onwards. You could see tempdb, and here you can specify where is the location of the tempdb data file and log file, how many log files, how many data files are there for tempdb, what's the initial size, everything can be configured during the installation process. Prior to SQL Server 2016, after the installation, you need to go and add additional data files, etc. But here from SQL Server 2016 onward, this is part of the installation. Now, file stream is a feature. I believe it is available from 2008. Now, we are not going to configure the file stream during the installation, but later, when we talk about file stream, we will enable file stream for this particular instance. So no change in data directory, tempdb, or file stream. So only change is that you need to change this to mix mode, provide a password, and then click on add current user. Make sure that your current Windows login is added as a valid administrator for the SQL Server installation you are trying to install. Click next here. All right, so here also you need to add, this is the analysis services, SQL Server analysis services. So click on add current user. So your Windows account will be added here as an administrator to the SSAS engine as well. Click next. No change. I mean, this is regarding the, SQL Server 2017, the SSIS, there is a new feature, master slave. Again, we'll be discussing that in the SQL Server BI training program. No need to change anything here. Click next. Click next again, this window. Distribution replay controller. Now, if you ask me what the distribution replay controller is, this is a technique you can use to capture activities happening on a particular SQL server and then replay those in another server. This is primarily for load testing, etc. Last year and this year also, I extensively worked on this distributor replay controller. But again, this is a feature you want to install it, but configuration part we will do later. So here also no changes needed here. Click next. Next again. All right, so now we are actually ready to install. During all these different steps, we are actually configuring the installation. Now you can see this is what the configuration we made. And this is actually the summary of the configuration. Now, if you scroll down, you can pretty much see, what actually you configured for the installation. Now, if you click on install, it is going to start the installation process. This installation process depends on your machine resource, your machine muscle power. It can take anywhere from 5 minutes to 45 minutes. So you need to be patient. So I'm going to temporarily post this video after the installation process start, and then I will, resume the video recording once the installation process has been completed. Okay, so I'm going to click on install here. So when you start the installation process, you can see this progress bar is going. Now, if you see any kind of error message, you need to troubleshoot, or if you need any assistance with the troubleshooting, again, you can send me an email. Let me show you my email address again, ag.daniel@yahoo.com, or you can just text me 267-718-1533. And my location is in Eastern time zone. I'm living in Philadelphia, so if you send me me a text message, late night, probably you'll be getting a reply from me tomorrow morning. Okay. All right. Anyway, I'm going to post the video now, and then I will come back after the installation process has been completed. All right, so I'm back. The good news is the SQL Server has been successfully installed. So at the end of the installation, we all wish to see this particular screen with all those green tick mark indicating that it's good. Everything went fine. One or more affected files operating pending. So you must restart the computer. You must restart the computer after the setup process is complete. And if you see this error message, click OK here. Now, if you see any kind of a red, into mark here, that means one of the component actually did not install successfully. Well, again, depends on what component actually or what feature actually failed. You can either continue with the next step, or you need to really troubleshoot and then fix it. Again, I'm here to help you guys out. Give me a call or text me if you need any assistance. Okay. So for now, you can see that everything is installed successfully. If you need to scroll down and make sure that you will see all green tick mark here, and then click close here. Now, in case if you get an error, what you need to do is that you can see a blue link at the bottom part. You click on that. This is going to give you more troubleshooting information, what went wrong, and then probably we can use that information to fix it. Okay, so if you click on this, it is going to show you the log for the installation. Okay, in this case you don't see much because everything went perfectly fine here. So I'm going to click close here. All right, so the installation part is completed. Now, before we, just want to give you an idea, what actually happened behind the scene when you install SQL Server. So I'm going to close this SQL Server Installation Center, and then I'm going to go to the search box here, and then click on Service. And you will see either local services or service. So this window is going to show all the windows, all the services running on your Windows operating system. So if you scroll down looking for SQL Server, in my case, you'll be seeing a lot of SQL Server related services because I have other instances running. But the instance which we installed is SQL Server Dev 400. So you need to make sure that this Dev 400 is running. Similarly, there's a SQL Server agent with a Dev not 400, I'm sorry, Dev 4000. Dev 4000 is running, then SQL Server agent with the Dev 4000 both are running. So our databases are installed, and both database engine and database engine agent is successfully running. So we are good. Now, in order to connect to this particular SQL Server instance, you need to use the tool provided by Microsoft, which is called as SQL Server Management Studio. There are a lot of other third-party tools also which you can use to connect to SQL Server, but I'm using the Microsoft tool SQL Server Management Studio. So if you go back to that folder where you downloaded and those files, one of the file is, if you go to the download folder, you can see SQL Server Management Studio Setup ENU. I believe you already copied this to our file location, which is SQL Server 2017. So this is what the file I'm talking about, right? So you need to make sure that the file size is same as your file size, and my file size is the same. All right, so what you do not to install SQL Server Management Studio, you right click on that and then run as an administrator. So SQL Server Management Studio is more like a watered down version of Visual Studio. You will be seeing a lot of similarities. So let's see. So it's saying that, okay, install SQL Server Management Studio. Great. And why you want to install it? Again, the one which we are trying to install here is version 17.4, okay, which is the latest as of now. So I'm going to post the video. It's also going to take a little bit of time. So let it complete, and then I will start resume the video shortly. Please stay tuned. Okay, guys, so I successfully, my SQL Server Management Studio 17.4 version installation did go through fine. And it's asking for a reboot. Let's try this. I'm not going to reboot it. So I'm going to close here. And now, so the installation part is done, both SQL Server and SQL Server 2017 and the SQL Server Management Studio. So what you can do here is that if you want to go to the start, and then click on, you can scroll down looking for SQL Server 2017. You should see SQL Server 2017 here. Expand it. Look for the SQL Server Management Studio. Probably it. Let me see whether it automatically show up, or probably it will show up only after the reboot. Let me try. Unfortunately, I need to reboot my machine and then come back. So what you need to do is that, after the reboot, when I reboot it, the recording is going to be stopped. So after the reboot, you go to what you need to do is that you need to search for SQL Server Management Studio, SQL Server Management Studio. I mean, then it will show you maybe apps. Maybe it's already there. Huh? I can. So I don't need a reboot. I know that. All right. Now you can see that the SQL Server Management Studio 17.4 is starting. Let's see whether it successfully start. Okay, great. So this is the screen. This is the GUI for the SQL Server Management Studio. Let me explain a little bit about the Management Studio. It's nothing but just an application, and using this Microsoft provided application, you can connect to n number of SQL Server instances running on your network. So, right now you need to specify the location where the instance you are trying to connect. Couple of ways you can do that. You need to either specify, you can type in your machine name or machine IP address / instance name, or if you're not sure about it, you use the drop down, click on browse more, and click on expand the database engine. In my case, I have around total four instances available. It is actually showing all those, but in your case, you are only going to see the dev 4000, and then click OK here. And now you are connecting to, no need to make in the authentication is always going to be Windows authentication, and click on connect. Then you can see that you are now connected to the dev 4000 instance on your machine. Okay, it's a SQL Server 2017 version of in SQL Server instance. So you are actually good to go here. Now, only thing missing here is that how to install the databases for the training purpose. That we will discuss during the class number 3. I'm going to show you how to install all the needed databases for our training program. For now, the installation part is done. Now, let me go through some of the general questions I always come across. Is it possible to have more than one instance on the same machine? Answer is yes. Some students, they say that, okay, they already have SQL Server 2016 or 2014. Can I install 2017? Answer is yes. You can have multiple versions of SQL Server installed on the same machine at the same time. No issues at all. Now, another question is that, hey, I have a SQL Server Management Studio, older version of SQL Server Management Studio. Can I go for the new one? Answer is once again yes. You can have multiple versions of SQL Server Management Studio. So those questions are answered. So other than that, I don't remember anything I need to discuss here. Any questions, once again, either email me or text me. If you like this video, I really appreciate if you go and put some comment for my video in my YouTube channel, or just like my video. That actually motivate me to come up with more videos. So those who are new to my SQL Server, my YouTube channel, I actually post a couple of additional videos, and I have plans to post more and more videos in upcoming weeks. So please stay tuned. Thank you very much. So I will see you all in the class starting next week. Okay. All right. Take care. Bye-bye.